In the 21st century, architecture will continue as in the times of the pyramids, being a fundamental art to improve people's life, to define the identity of the time in which we live. Santiago Calatrava. Architecture continues to evolve. Around the world, more and more projects are being built that gives the world a great impact. Speaking both of their structures and construction techniques as well as their design. Part of this have been possible thanks to the development of new materials and techniques that have been found with the help of the technological and scientific advances. Around the world, we can find constructions that have impacted and posed a new challenges for both architecture and engineering, exhibiting a new panorama regarding their constructive and creative process. Some of these high-impacted constructions will be presented on this video, so let's get started. Museum of Tomorrow. Location, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Type, Science Museum. Architect, Santiago Calatrava. Foundation, December 17, 2015.
A deep foundation was chosen based on steel piles with an H-shaped profile. H-profile steel piles have open sections that are very resistant to compression and bending, so they absorb horizontal stresses such as earthquakes well. They resist pile driver impacts better than other sections and easily overcome hard strata, partly because they dislodge little material. Structure. Its sophisticated design has curved walls that were resolved with white paint and reinforces concrete, thus enveloping its geometry. It should be emphasized that the covering of this building is metallic. The walls are made of panels, accompanied by rods that emerge from the subsoil and provide support. Finestry. Glass is one of the main agents that enhance the design of the museum. Orientated in a north-south direction, it seeks to take advantage of the most attractive visuals, such as the gardens or the large mirror of water in which the museum seems to be floating. It also takes advantage of the solar lighting with cells that are able to move according to the sun's trajectory, imitating sunflowers. Design finishes. The interior of the building is dominated by the use of partition walls with dimensions and curvatures, and we find wooden details such as blanket weights inside the auditorium. In the case of the floors, in the auditorium space the wood stage stands out, and in the rest of the building it is covered with a ceramic and marble floor. But on the outside it is a grayish colored floor. Covering. It handles unique techniques, such as its cantilevered roof that extends throughout the project, benefiting its land and controlling its width. Of course, this is not only attributed to its aesthetics, but also to its surroundings, gardens, recreation areas, bike paths, but mainly to its water mirror, which is achieved thanks to the water filtration that is pumped from the bay to the pier. Electrical installations. By means of solar photovoltaic panels together with adjustable angles, the solar rays are recovered, converted into clean energy, and supplied to the entire building.
An interesting fact about this project is that it is highly committed to being sustainable, as it is leadership in energy and environmental design certified by the Green Building Council (USGBC). Plus, it developed a mechanism that was able to store seawater in tanks in order to treat it and use it as air conditioning and as a mirror of water outside the museum.
The Paris Philharmonic. Location, Paris, France. Type, Concert Hall. Architect, Jean Nouvel. Opening, January 14, 2015.
Another great word, the Paris Philharmonic. with a cultural space designed by the architect Jean Nouvel. Is a variety of areas to confront made the Corset has a capacity for 2,400 people, often cross the stage to the spaces for the exhibition result rooms, administrative areas, and restaurants, all with a nice atmosphere. The building is developed on an area of 19,600 square meters and has 200 levels for parking with a capacity of 850 cars. The Philharmonic represents a great geometric complexity, both external and internal. In structural designs, it is made of reinforced concrete structures such as aluminum sheets and stainless steel cases. In particular, the science and analysis of the singular joints with unusual geometries and configuration, such as the construction process of the anchoring a singular piece, with a central span of 60 meters, a cantilever of 25 meters. Resorting to monogreen, the behavior and structure to the dynamic long test. The angular structure of the building rises 52 meters. However, the engineers use BAM software based on ergot podcast analysis and Tesla model, which they use together to access to geometric and the design of the lots. In terms of mensured, this work is captured by the basket of cloud volcanics near the steel. It is made from material such as drywall. In addition to the central body is covered by stay steel, some mirror sheets, and other opaque. The sample of this intolerant up to more than 200,000 pieces aluminum. Regarding use of sheets as envelopes, they take center stage covering most the design. However, you can see the use of glass vanistry and the entrance of this Philharmonic. The crystal of dark color and integrate into the grace color in range. In its joints, disjoins the glass with can five black circular fittings. The material for covering the vacancies and most finish was the drywall. There was also embellishment of fine glass pieces that held in the auditory aspect on the auditorium, and on the part on the floor converting were sheets of wood.
Did you know that it is mostly an aluminum construction with stainless steel cladding? Its entire cover totals 340,000 sheets of aluminum. In addition, in the main auditorium, use acoustic panels to disperse the sound. The entire room is covered by sheets of fiberglass with different designs. Besides being visual, they have an auditory and tactile function, as they have a texture. Finally, the total weight of the auditorium is 1,500 tons, equivalent to 300 elephants.
José Vasconcelos Library. Location, Mexico City, Mexico. Type, library. Architect, Alberto Calach. Opening, 2007.
And we finish with the José Vasconcelos Library by architect Alberto Calac. This building is located in Mexico City and its inauguration took place in 2007. This library has mostly open spaces and green areas. Also, what are now the offices of the library were formerly an all-industrial building, and with all this help the urban environment and aggressive pollutants. Foundation. We will begin by talking about the pile foundation. Piles are a construction element in the form of a column placed vertically that is used in construction foundation to transfer loads to a resid layer of soil. The foundation of these piles is deep in order to keep the construction safe in the event of an earthquake or other similar phenomenon. Main story. This library is made up of 3 buildings are aligned, each of 6 levels, castles with chains, with walls covered with a reinforced concrete mainly accompanied by glass that allow the entrance of natural light. The reinforced concrete piles provide rigidity and safety. The large 36 meters flames stand out. Structure. To optimize space and give slenderness to the structure, it is made entirely of steel elements. The glass on the sides and top of the building provides light to the interior and also reduce electricity cost. The rest of the structure is made of concrete. These columns are really big because they transmit all the loads of the building from the top to the foundation. Canopies. The library is characterized by its exterior and interior design. Glass and reinforced concrete are the main materials used to generate the interconnection links and also provides light and ventilation. These large windows reach large dimensions of approximately 250 meters, and it is well mentioned that the terraces have ironworks and allow to access and operation of doors. Coating. The Botanic Garden has been mentioned several times and contains a part of a Mexican endemic flora that surrounds the entire project. Its large window in the roof and walls in the building doesn't lack natural light and ventilation.
Curious fact, thanks to the book storage system, the library has more than 417,000 books, and it is capable of storing 2 million books. It is important to mention that according to the Architectural Record magazine, it was named as one of the most important and representative libraries in the world. The Museum of Tomorrow, the Paris Philharmonic, and the Vasconcelos Library are constructions with a precious architectural meaning, but thanks to this tree construction of high impact and scale, it is possible to analyze the constructive and creative process as well as structural, and the variety of materials that we can find today. Result of scientific and technological progress, and which open doors to creative process and allow to create buildings like the Philharmonic, wrapping it in aluminum sheets. In the same way, the curves as in the Philharmonic of Paris and the Museum of Tomorrow changed the structural design and proposed new forms of construction, as well as the Vasconcelos Library. Similarly, these projects propose not only to build for today, but for tomorrow, thinking about the social and above all the environment impact, uniting architecture and technological advance. As we can observe, a mixture of elements and strategies of sustainable design, such as the solar panels, which are capable of following the trajectory of sunlight. Not all of these projects present changes in their construction, however, now complete, they show that today it is possible to build a large-scale project taking into account all the requirements of successful construction and turning them into exceptional buildings.